So, Brandon, I'm technically recording this right now. So if I end up uploading this to other people, just gonna. This is probably a stupid video. This is after the podcast with Brandon and Andres. Yeah.
After the
what
podcast
if this became a
Brandon and Andres.
Yeah, where we're just like don't give any fucks about anything, and it just literally we just screw this. I'm pissed right now. Like I'm actually upset. So, just for context, guys who see this video tomorrow, like maybe if I upload this, we don't really know. We just had the podcast with TheYellowKazoo. She's great. Check out her channel, guys. She told me, and I don't know if this is true or not. She's under the I believe Kazoo, so she's right about things. So, she was just saying that the reason why notifications have been dead on the podcast lately is because YouTube's dumb, and they're like, yo, if you don't have 10,000 subscribers, your podcast is not getting notified to anyone. So in other words, the podcast, which recently was starting to consistently have like a lot higher views, right? Which is really promising. We were getting to the point where like the podcast was hitting 400, 500 views per podcast. Now I understand that's not like thousands of views, but for the podcast, that's really good, right? Like it's a live stream. It's different sort of metrics there, and it was growing consistently every week. Right, so we got to the point where podcasts were starting to hit like 1,000 views per podcast. Like that's insane to consistently do that, right? Like the goal here is for me to become a full-time content creator, right? And Brandon's gonna be my guy, right? Like he right now he's doing his own thing, but if the channel picks up, like I'll hire him as like my second person to help me do stuff, right? But anyway, like so the podcast is like screwed now because we're getting like 20 to 30% as many views as before. Like we're at a fraction now because notifications are dead. So and last week people were saying it's not just my own personal impressions and I'm like, oh, I'm going through a dry spell. No, this is being talked about content creators all over. And literally you guys have told me, right? Like, hey, did you do the podcast? Yeah, I'm doing the podcast. 9 p.m. Eastern time every time. So if you're watching this video,
the fucking podcast, and I cannot see it.
I can't see it, and it's my podcast. I can't see it. I make the podcast. I'm literally like I set the podcast. I schedule it in advance because I'm trying to be like productive and proactive about it, like smart, like responsible, right? Like not just do it all willy-nilly last minute. I'm scheduling it in advance.
It's not even in my subscription feed now.
It's not in my subscription feeds. I don't see it. I can't find it. It's my podcast. Brandon can't find it, and he's on the podcast every week. He's the second guy. And we can't find it because YouTube is just like, you're small, so you don't matter. And I understand we're going through the whole pandemic right now. Things are being skewed and changed, but according to Kazoo, and we don't know. I don't know. I haven't even looked it up. Like I like to do my research for things, but this is kind of more of a rant discussion video. It might. Hey, if people like this, it could be cool, like after the podcast with Brandon and Andres. That might be awesome. Yeah. Maybe, probably not. I don't know. There's probably gonna be like 20 views. But like,
hello, 20 people. We value you.
It's supposedly not necessarily like for this situation. Just like it could just be like a new norm. In other words, until it hit 10K, which I don't know how long that'll take. If it happens in a month, great. If it happens in 2 years, like I don't know. Right? It's hurting the podcast, and that sucks. So in other words, if you care about the podcast, if you care about listening to a good Nintendo discussion and being involved with that discussion, because you can watch it after the fact, right? But if you want to be a part of that discussion, actually be asking questions, offering our own feedback, and we can give our own thoughts on that, and it actually shapes the discussion.
People who have watched the podcast know we reference the all the time. The chat really does influence the podcast a lot.
Absolutely.
And sometimes it turns what we think is going to be a small little 1 hour podcast into
a 3 hour one.
2-3 hour podcast.
There have been 4 hour podcast.
Yeah.
There have been times when it's been 4 hours and we're like, no.
Really stuff to say.
Granted, we're now holding things to a more consistent 2 hour slot, right? But still, the chat always contributes very strongly to it. So the fact that notifications are dead, it's podcast has been wrecked Granted, we still like talking. It's still fun. People still watch it.
yeah.
There's still some people though. So for those who are there, awesome. And for those
You
who
guys are
aren't
the
there, I'm
best,
not
yeah.
mad at you. It's not your fault.
No, it's not your guys' fault.
It's life. But if you do want to watch the podcast consistently, remember at 9 p.m. Eastern times, that is the slot. We are maintaining that. And actually now, because notifications are dead, we kind of have to be more strict with that, because if we don't have a strict schedule, people won't even know, because YouTube killed the notifications for that. So that is the time. Make sure to follow us on Twitter and Discord. We will, because you will be notified there, right? Whenever we tweet it out or Discord, it will be there. That way you can be more on top of it when we're actually doing it, so be part of the discussion. But yeah, this is dumb. Yeah. It's just dumb.
It's some bullshit.
It's bullshit. But you know what's not bullshit? I'm just talking about during the podcast. Future Connected. Look at my new wallpaper.
Yeah.
It is gorgeous. Love it. Love it. New artwork for Future Connected is awesome. But yeah, that's all. It's not even at all related to that. But
nope.
No. And I think that's probably all I'm going to rant about this time. Is there anything else we should say on this episode that may never even go public?
I don't know, man. YouTube's just kind of hating on small YouTubers a lot, man. I mean, even just a couple of years ago, streams were a lot better than they are now.
Well,
I mean, our buddy Monolith 64,
he's done.
He's felt a lot of that.
He's done.
Streams used to get shared everywhere. I remember, because I used to stream all the time, and I get so many new people all the time, and then just suddenly they changed something, and it was just like me, Monolith 64, a ton of other small YouTubers. We just all noticed at the same time. Nobody knew was coming to the streams. Yeah, we were getting the same people. Nobody knew. And now it's like they're attacking you in even your own fan base that's already there. It's like you can't grow your fan base, and now your own fan base can't even see it. Like, that's just the double whammy, man.
So I do this because I like doing this, right? Like, yes, I want to become a full-time content creator. I want this to be my actual career, right? That's what I want, right? Some people might think, oh, you want to make money on YouTube. Well, yeah, I do. Because I like doing this. Why is that
such a bad thing?
I want this to become my life because I love video games. I love making thumbnails and editing and putting video game music together. Like, there's that artistic aspect. This is a skit with Charmander. Heck, if the channel grew, I would love to do like short films, right? I did a couple early on the channel before. I love Nintendo. I want to do all things around that, right? So if that became my life, epic. I love analyzing, predicting things, and researching all this stuff. That's what I care about. And I think I'm pretty good at it. So if I made it my career, that would be awesome. So yeah, I think about this in terms of perspective of turning this into a business. So when the podcast is dying, right, that matters. But I'm still gonna do it because I like doing it. But obviously I want it to succeed. Yeah. We want it to succeed. So yeah, it sucks. And to your point, Brandon, other content creators have stopped streaming on YouTube, right? Sean he's noted himself. I love Sean, right? I'm not trying to talk any sort of trash, right? But his streams have died, right? Because he's not gaining any. There's been no growth, zero, right? And actually, some people have asked me why I don't stream games anymore. There's several reasons, right? For me, I like playing games privately for the most part, right? And I like making videos. That's what I prioritize, besides the podcast, of course. But the other reason, so that's one reason I don't stream, like me playing Smash or Pokemon or whatever. But another reason is because when I do stream, that takes hours out of my day. And every time I have streamed in the last couple of years, there has been zero growth. Not a single gained subscriber from that stream. So there's something wrong with the streaming system on YouTube. I used to, when I was like under 100 subscribers, when I was first starting, I would gain a subscriber almost every single time I would stream.
When I streamed, there were streams where I was just constantly reading notifications, new subscriber, new subscriber, new subscriber. I get like 15 or more subscribers every stream. Like, I was consistently growing a ton from streams, and I streamed every day. And then all of a sudden, it was like all of a sudden, nothing. No new subscribers, no new people in the chat. It was really, really weird. Like, it was crazy. It was just like from like 10, 15 subscribers a day. Like, on a bad day, I'd still get several subscribers, to nothing. To like, I hope that I get a subscriber this stream.
Exactly. So think about this for a second, right? We're talking about a time when we first started YouTube, that first year we started YouTube, where we had under 100 subscribers, or like we had just passed. So at that point we're really small, right? Brandon and I, you're over 3,000 right now, right?
I keep fluctuating.
Okay, yeah, because you stopped for a few months, but look,
Yeah,
I've been doing it consistent. The point is, we are in the thousands, right? We are in the thousands. I'm approaching 4,000, right? So when I had less than 100 subscribers, I could gain subscribers consistently every time I would stream. Now I have what's 100? That is 40 times. I have basically 40 times more viewership now. 40 times more viewership, and I won't gain a single subscriber.
Dude, I remember when I had between 200 and 300 subscribers. I remember I used to get 20 to 30 people consistently every single stream. When I got into the thousands, I'd hoped to reach 10 to 15. And it, like, literally nothing changed. Like, I didn't change doing what I like. I just kept doing the same.
It's not an us thing. It's
I improved my content.
Changed. Right, you got better.
And then all of a sudden it was just bam. YouTube stopped putting out my streams to subscribers. They stopped putting out my streams to new people. They stopped putting out notifications, and then they just died.
Yeah. So YouTube,
and it's not like the podcast where, you know, we kind of have, you know, consistency and time schedule and stuff. Like, I just stream at random times, and so if nobody knew that I was going to stream, then nobody knew. Like,
yeah. And actually, I guess what's remarkable about the podcast is that despite the fact that the growth has seemed to be completely dead for people like us, like, I mean, let's face it, Brandon and I, we're just dudes in our 20s, right?
Yeah.
For the most part, people don't care about dudes in their 20s, right? We're not the most
I care about dudes in our 20s.
But you know what I mean, right? We're not super famous people. We're not gorgeous goddesses, right? So
are you sure? Seeing this hair?
Okay, maybe you, but I mean, the point is, you know what I mean.
Monolith 64 said this hair looked pretty sexy. I was flattered. I thought it might be a little gay, but I was flattered anyways. So there you go.
What's wrong with that? This is fine.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But the point is, right, is that it doesn't work anymore. I mean, we've known that it doesn't work anymore. Now, the cool thing is that despite the fact that it doesn't work anymore, the podcast has shown some really awesome signs of being able to work. Like, it's not even a traditional kind of stream, right? When people ask, "Oh, do you stream?" It's like, just a podcast. What do you mean? Like, it's not something that everyone does. And I feel like ours is pretty solid. Is it perfect? No. I think there's things I could do better. Like, I feel like I could be a better host and I could be more consistent with how I sort of translate and communicate things. But people enjoy it, right? The people who watch it, at least. But if you don't see it, you won't watch it. So, you know, it's kind of a catch-22. Yeah. That's it. I don't... Brandon, this wasn't intended to be a thing, but it's a thing. So,
right,
yeah. If you guys want to see more bullshit, or what was it? After the late night podcast, or something like that. After the
podcast with Andres and Brandon, I think. What we coined it.
Yeah, I don't know if we could, like, maybe we have to give it an acronym so it makes sense as a title. Maybe.
I don't know.
I don't know either. Yeah. So anyway, follow us on Twitter and Discord if you actually want to hear about, like, when we're doing stuff. Otherwise,
or if you just want to talk some more bullshit with us after the podcast,
exactly,
we're on there.
That's right. That's where we will be. And apparently, in order for this to happen, I have to pay more attention to my other social media. I pay attention to a little bit, but apparently, according to Brand, I don't do it at all. So, I
gotta do more.
I'm gonna be more sassy and sarcastic on my other social media. And if I'm not, that's pretty much it. But I'm not all doom and gloom because I'm hyped for Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition and Future Connect.
There you go.
Right, because it's entirely relevant to this conversation.
Yeah, totally relevant, man. Totally relevant.
But yeah, I don't think this needs to be. Yeah, absolutely. Ben, you and I will probably still stay talking after this, but this recording's probably done. So, see you later, guys. If this video even goes live. Peace.
Right. Peace.